Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. Thank you very much for the encouragement. Thank you. All right. It's Thursday afternoon, Singapore time. It's close to 5:30, and I've just finished a webinar for the Global Sustainable Tourism Council, or what we call GSTC, and it's entitled Rethinking Mass Tourism, and it was talking about innovative strategies deployed by destinations, especially in the last few years, overcoming or trying to tackle this phenomenon called mass tourism. Mass tourism and over tourism has been a bane for many tourist destinations around the world, from Taiwan to Bangkok to Venice, Barcelona, Dubrovnik, attractions like Machu Picchu, the Great Wall of China, and many more. These are just a few popular or much more talked about ones. And so the webinar, I actually enjoyed myself talking about this topic, because I have felt for the last 1-2 years that we have been spending so much time criticizing, analyzing, discussing about the destructive impacts of mass tourism. It's time we look at how we can overcome. If overcome is a big word, then at least try and do things to reduce mass tourism and over tourism. Mass tourism and over tourism, there's a difference. We shall not go into the details, but this two phenomenon is creating a lot of destruction, and yes, we know it is a horrible thing for many tourist destinations, but it is time we spend more energy and time looking at what could be some solutions, what could be some innovative ideas we can learn from destinations who have actually sat down and take a harder look at resolving or at least reducing the effects of this phenomenon or these two issues. So in the webinar, I shared about examples like Venice, which in 2024 or maybe the end of 2023 levied a $7 tax on day trippers. And while the local people by and large feel that it's not enough, it's not going to be sufficient, there's always things, additional things, other things that Venice can do or should look at. Very seldom should destinations rely on only one strategy. Destinations by and large that are afflicted or affected by mass tourism should look into different complementary or different strategies and actions to reduce mass tourism's impacts. In the webinar, I also shared with the audience examples like Iceland, who started to look into the arts and literature sector, hoping to drive some tourism or some tourists to visit places related to arts and culture. And so the diversion of tourists is not a new thing. It's been something that the tourism industry and many destinations have started to practice. Some more successful, maybe some less successful. Diverting tourists has more than one strategy. You can start to market or to promote lesser talked about destinations in your countries. You can make it a bit more expensive to visit the popular ones so that more people will go to the ones that are less talked about. You can create new tourism experiences or products in destinations in the countries that are less visited. We also talked about examples like Vietnam that has recently explored food tourism, FOOD, or culinary tourism. and also recently started to explore rural tourism. And in Vietnam's case, working the government, the stakeholders in the tourism industry, especially the government, having to work with the private sector to develop food tourism. And in the case of rural tourism, working with stakeholders like the countryside communities, preparing them for hosting and being able to serve an expected increase in visitors going to the countryside and the farms. Improving standards, hygiene standards, and sanitation standards in the farm areas and the rural areas. So, a statement that I made in my webinar to the audience is, reducing the effects of mass tourism is quite like going to the gym. The process is critical. The process is important. The process should not be ignored. It is crucial. It is critical. Because in the process of a destination trying to think of and implement innovative ideas, there are many things that needs to be done, partnerships formed, actions taken, strategies executed, actions planned and taken, outcomes revisited, improvements thought of and implemented. So it's a process of destinations discovering themselves. It's a process of destinations creating and forming new partnerships. It's a process whereby destinations discover so much more in tourism offerings that they probably have never known of. And so it is a very interesting topic. I enjoyed the webinar, and I actually have a few people saying that the content was interesting. I thank God for that. And it is my desire to speak more on this topic, speak again on this topic, and to be able to perhaps work with destinations to explore destination specific and destination relevant strategies and execute them. And this is a very, very impromptu podcast, more impromptu than most of my podcasts, which have always also been impromptu. So I thank you for listening, and have a good week. I think the weekend is also coming soon. Goodbye.